Hello and thank you for your time. It's good to connect with you on this video. And this video is produced for DA Academy students, whether you're doing the fulfillment course advanced or any other program that has to do with you moving on to the next level. Now, there's an understanding that you are quite clear about your goals and your targets for this particular program, and this video is designed to really just help you enlarge your capacity so that you can be able to do more and start operating at the next level as well. I'm reminded of that saying that a problem can never be solved at the same level at which it was created. So for you to be able to achieve the things you're working towards, there's going to be a difference in the way that you see your resources, especially your time. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. And we're going to be talking about how to really just make the most of your time. I'm going to be sharing with you about the life classification guide. Life classification guide. Now, the life classification guide is an extract from my book titled Diamond Believer. But you don't really necessarily need to get this book, because the aspect of the book we're going to deal with, I'm going to be showing it to you right now, and we're just going to go through it. What I will do right now is just reduce my video, and you are going to see an extract of the book, the Diamond Believer, and the extract of the part that talks about preparing for the next level. Actually, the title of that aspect of the video is what we call making room for more depth. And we're going to learn more about it. Is in chapter 7 of the book Diamond Believer. So I'm actually just going to read from this section of this book. Now, for us to experience greater depth and a higher level, we need to create room for our lives. Now, if you want to start working on maybe a book project or an assignment project, we need to adjust our life, make room for these new changes in our life. And in fact, the room we create for our life is an indication that we are ready for that next level. Now, a key scripture we're going to be looking at here is the book of Proverbs chapter 24 verses 3 and 4, and I'm going to read it from the Amplified Bible Classic Edition. It says, through skillful and godly wisdom a house, a life, a home, a family is built, and by understanding it is established on a sound and good foundation, and by knowledge shall its chambers of every area be filled with all precious and pleasant riches. Proverbs chapter 24 verses 3 to 4. May the Lord bless the reading and the hearing of those words. Now, for us to really be able to move to the next level, it is very, very important that we create a room for us to be able to operate in. And that's what I'm going to talk to us about, the life classification guide. Now, just to really, really help, think about a metaphorical house. See your life as a metaphorical house and just think about it. Think about what would the color of this house be? And it's a building, it's a bungalow just on one level. So see your life as a metaphorical house on one level, a bungalow. What would the color of the house be? White, cream, gray, pink? As you move closer, you see the door. What would the color of the door be for you? Brown, green, blue, red? Now, and you see yourself putting your hand on the handle of the door. What would the hand be? Would it be brass? Will it be gold? Will it be silver? Will it be brown? Will it be red? Whatever color it is. And you see yourself coming into this house. And this house has 6 rooms on the left and 6 rooms on the right. Let me just reduce my video here and share an aspect of it. So let's have a look at this. Let's see what I call the life classification guide. See this as a room that is running. See this as the house. Let's say this is the aerial view of the house, moving from the left to the right. So the first room, so let's say the door is to the left. Here is to the left, where you have the C of the corridor, and then that's the door. And then the other end of the hallway, so the hallway is what I probably highlights in yellow color, and then the other end of the hallway is where you have the room number 7, which I call the legacy room. I'm going to remove the color, which I call the legacy room. Now, so this is the corridor, and then the room number 7 is the legacy room. So that's the corridor. So let's say we enter from the C end of the letter corridor. So to your left is room number 1, which is your God room. Then room number 2 is to your right, which is your self room. Room number 3 is your family room. Room number 4 is your ministry room. Room number 5 is finances, and room number 6 is vocation. Vocation talks about whatever you do, whether your career or business, or if you're in full-time education, that refers to vocation. Now, let's now talk about this life classification guide, and let us have it explained. Now, this life classification guide is simply a diagram that shows a metaphorical representation of our life using the scriptures from Proverbs that we read to show how wisdom builds a house. In your own case, building your life because you want to make room for more. Now, imagine stepping into that house, like I said, and you enter each of the rooms, and in each of the rooms you see 3 chairs, each representing an area of growth or an area you need to create room for the new things you're doing. Now, you're watching this video either because you are already doing a course, a training program, or you're working towards a particular task. So, room number one, this is the starting point of increasing your depth in God. So the key phrase for this room is spiritual growth. This is the room where you're making sure that your spiritual life is still strong and vibrant. So in that room, there are 3 chairs. Chairs 1, 2, and 3. Chair number 1 is sonship or daughterhood, if there's anything like that. This is the chair you sit on to develop your relationship with God as a child of God. Chair number 2 is servanthood. This is the chair you sit on to receive instructions from God as a servant on the earth. God probably want to tell you to reach out to someone or be an extension of his hand to someone, but it's all part of our spirituality or spiritual growth. And chair number 3 is eternity. This is the chair you sit on to just kind of review your preparations for eternity. If you're a person of faith and you believe that being in this world is not the be all and the end all. Now, let's go to room number 2. Room number 2 is the self room. This is where we increase our depth and our knowledge of ourselves. Let me just highlight this so that you kind of get what I'm talking about. It's the self room. In this self room, if I go back up to the original diagram, can you see room number 1 is God, which we dealt with, sonship, servant, and eternity. Room number 2 is the one for self, and you kind of get it. That's the one I've highlighted in yellow. The key phrase for room number 2 is personal development. And in that room, there are 3 chairs in there. When you sit on chair number 1, that is the one about your mind. This is where you explore how you can develop your mind, maybe through studying or learning. When you sit on chair number 2, this refers to things around your health. This refers to things around your diet and fitness. When you sit on chair number 3, this is about appearance. How do you want to look like to others? I refer to this as your outer packaging. This is where you maybe make decisions about things as simple as your wardrobe or a particular hairstyle that works for you. Or just if you want to be somebody that you are very, very personable and cheerful whenever people see you as well. That is room number 2. Let us crack on to room number 3, and to really just make this process easy, I want to highlight room number 3 so that you know exactly what I am talking about. In room number 3, this is where we create room in our family life. We create the depth required in our family life, which could either be your present or your future nuclear family. I would say your present family, but if you are single but you plan to get married over the next 2 to 3 years, then deal with it as your nuclear family. So the key phrase here is family life. Now, when you sit on chair number 1, this is where you deal with things related to your spouse or your future spouse. This refers to your current or your future spouse and ways of enhancing your relationship with your spouse. When you sit on chair number 2, you're dealing with your children or future children. This refers to the care and the provisions and the guidance required to develop your children or your future children and to nurture them and nurture your relationship with them. When you sit on chair number 3, that's the one about home. This refers to the environment around your home. The house is one thing, the home is another thing. The house is a physical entity. The home is an intangible entity. It talks about the atmosphere within that nuclear family. I'll remove the coloring, and then I'll now move to room number 4, which talks about ministry or act of service. Ministry or act of service. I highlighted in yellow so that it's easy for you to follow through on. Now, this increases our depth in our service to humanity. It's very likely that the expression of your assignment or the fulfillment of your assignment has to do with the service of man. Now, you remember it's the service of God first and then the service of man. The key phrase here is serving others. So when you sit on chair number 1, this with your extended family. These are your relatives outside your nuclear family. So if you're married, this extended family chair 1 deals with that, your parents, your siblings, your cousins, and other extended family. When you sit on chair number 2, this refers to your friends and acquaintances that are Christians, how you relate to them, how you're able to serve them. When you sit on chair number 3, this refers to your non-Christian friends and acquaintances, those who are not Christians, because there will be a particular way in which you relate to them. So far, we have gone through 4 rooms. Let's go to room number 5. Room number 5 refers to your finances. This is where you increase your depth and your knowledge and your depth and knowledge of your assets and financial resources. And the key phrase here is financial stewardship. Financial stewardship. So there's chair number 1 is about your livelihood, managing your primary source of income, which would normally come from employment, and controlling your budget. Chair number 2 refers to your savings. Chair number 3 refers to investment and then when you move to room number 6, this talks about your vocation, which talks about this is increasing impact through work. Chair number 1 is about project you manage. Chair number 2 is about systems you monitor. Chair number 3 are the results you are required to deliver. And the 7th room is about your legacy. Is about your legacy, increasing your depth in terms of your impact. Chair number 1 is about the people you want to impact. Chair number 2 is the content you're using to impact. And chair number 3 is the medium through you communicate that. In the next video, I'm going to tell you how you can make the most of your life classification guide. I hope you found this useful. Thank you for your time.